Barbara, you ready? Okay. We'd like to call the meeting back to order. I'll ask Madam Clerk for a roll call, please.
Yes, Ms. Hodges? Absent. Mr. Mills?
Here.
Mr. Oden?
Here.
Ms. Reller Spurgeon? Absent. Mayor?
Here. If you'll all please rise for the flag salute, and keep this in mind that on Saturday, April 20th, we'll signify our 65th anniversary as a city. It was 1938 that we incorporated. If you'll join with me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our invocation tonight is Shauna Segundo from the Baha'i Faith. Good evening and welcome.
O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord.
Thank you. While on the issue of the invocations, tonight is the first night of Passover. So for all those celebrating Passover in our community, we wish you a safe and healthy Passover as you take this high holy day into consideration. Now, we have a number of presentations tonight. Our first is the swearing in of our newest police officer, and I'll ask Chief Gary Jr. to come forward and introduce the community to our newest officer. And again, I've encouraged the family to join them up here with cameras and such, so please feel free to capture this one-time moment.
We'll have Officer Hackbar stand right here in the middle. Look out at the crowd. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Officer Isaac Hackbarth. He was hired last October as a police trainee. He recently graduated from the Riverside County Police Academy on March 28th. Of interest, he came out in the physical testing, scored 100 out of 100. I've never heard of anyone doing that before. He's local. He's a graduate from high school, and he played football for the Palm Springs High School. I understand he was a feared linebacker. Officer Hackbarth was also recently married. Matter of fact, he graduates from the academy on Friday, and he's married on Saturday. So obviously he can handle stress very well. His wife, Holly, is here. I'd like to introduce Holly over here. And along with Isaac's parents, Mark and Sharon. And his brothers are Paul, John, and Ben, and they're out in the audience there as well. Finally, this is especially meaningful to me. About 5 years ago, I personally presented Isaac with the first Palm Springs Police Department Memorial Scholarship when he graduated from high school. This was a scholarship that honors our two officers who were killed in the 1960s, and it's money that's provided to high school students to help them gain an education in law enforcement. And it's very gratifying to see the fruits of that scholarship, and we have here Isaac Hackbarth. So, Isaac, I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Isaac Hackbarth,
Do solemnly swear
do
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the State of California,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States,
that I will bear true faith
allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States,
of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California.
and I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Present to you Officer Isaac Hackbarth. And as you know, we're going to leave for a while. I'm going to leave you with Commander Hall. He will be security while we're gone, enjoying ourselves over at the police department. Sorry that you can't join us.
Well, the tradition continues. Every time you swear someone in, including yourself, you leave and go party and leave us here. So let the tradition go forward. Congratulations to the entire Hackbarth family. We'll now turn to our Golden Bear Award for our dispatchers. So I believe we have a presentation scheduled here, and we'll allow that to come forward. You have two of them, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Rick Hall with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. In my present assignment, I'm the project manager at CalID. A little background on CalID so you understand what these awards are about. CalID is a joint venture amongst all the cities in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, the sheriff's departments of both counties, the district attorney's office, and collectively the Board of Supervisors. Together, we have joined to create an identification resource for fingerprints, digital mug shots, and DNA. So tonight I'm here to present two awards to two Palm Springs Police Department employees for the hard work and diligent effort in the recovery of latent fingerprints out at crime scenes. Now, unlike the fictional crime show CSI, we don't solve commercials or crimes over the commercial break, and it's not as easy as they make it look on TV. It takes a lot of hard work to A, find those prints, B, pull those off the different items, and then ultimately search those through the vast computer networks to identify the perpetrators responsible for the crimes. But tonight I have the pleasure of presenting two awards. The first one is to, I believe it's Community Service Officer Angela Sawyer. She had a total of 5 hits this year. This is the first year that she has received this award, and she received the award for getting hits on carjackings and vehicle theft type cases.
Why don't you define what a hit is?
Oh, I'm sorry. A hit is the actual location of a latent fingerprint that was collected from a crime scene and then ultimately sent to CalID, where we sent it through our computers and identified a perpetrator for that particular print.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the second recipient this year is Field Evidence Technician Calvin Finner. Calvin had a total of 16 hits this year. It's his second consecutive year to receive this award, and he had cases involving crimes against persons and crimes against property, and I believe Calvin has already qualified this year to receive an award next year, so he's doing an outstanding job. Thank you very much.
Want to get the recipients up here? Maybe we can congratulate them personally by shaking their hands. Is that all right? Sure. Angela, you want to come down here too? Chief, big night for you. Enjoy the party. And then we have a special presentation tonight. We are honored to have a fellow elected from Ontario. Mayor Gary Avitt is here from Ontario to make a presentation based on the Rose Parade, a poster featuring Palm Springs. Mayor, it's a pleasure to see you here. Thank you for coming all the way in from Ontario. We look forward to your presentation tonight, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it. And members of the council, staff members, and those of you in the audience, it's indeed a pleasure to be here from Ontario, the western side of the desert. And we do tell people we are part of the desert, and when it gets to 110, they believe it. We are privileged to be here tonight and to let you know that our marketing efforts include Palm Springs. You have a lot to offer. Many people obviously know. I mean, I don't need to tell you what you have to offer, but you have a wonderful community, and so we let people know that when we are marketing ourselves as the gateway to Southern California. And of course, our airport is very integral to the future of Southern California area. We are approximately at 7 million right now air passengers a year, and we anticipate through the regional airport system that we will grow to about 30 million. And so with that in mind, we let people know from outside of this area that they can get to Palm Springs and other areas, whether they be Disneyland or whatever, as they fly through Ontario. And so with that in mind, as part of our marketing effort, we had a float in the Rose Parade, which did quite well. We won the Governor's Trophy, which is the depiction of California life. And in Ontario, we were 111, let's see, 1891, 112 years old, come to think of it, and incorporated 112 years ago. And the Chaffee brothers founded our city, and of course, yes, we are named after Ontario, Canada. That's where they came from. They immigrated from there. And with that in mind, they set up an agricultural model colony, and we grew a lot of citrus fruit, and we also have a lot of grapes that we've grown in the past and that. With all of that in mind, we depicted that on our float, and so we brought back a big piece of the float, which was seen by over 300 million people who watch the Rose Parade every year on January the 1st. And of course, what did they see? They saw Ontario, but they also saw Palm Springs on it. So we wanted to make sure that you had a bit of our marketing here that you could keep. When you walked inside, we used Fiesta floats to decorate our float. And of course, a lot of volunteers from the Ontario area and from all over. And when you walked inside, of course, you smelled all these beautiful flowers, but our float especially had quite an interesting smell to it because we had oatmeal all over it and a lot of cinnamon, so you were hungry when you decorated the Ontario float. But we are pleased to be here today. We just had our State of the City yesterday, and let me tell you that we are so pleased that we have your former employee, Brian McGowan. He's part of our team, and he contributed so greatly to our marketing for economic development. And in fact, our State of the City, we think, is the best we've ever had. And Brian contributed so greatly to it. And so I want to give him an opportunity to say hello to old friends. As the mayor, I get a chance to talk a lot. That's why I'm losing my voice, I think. But let me give Brian a chance to speak. But first of all, we do have the...
This is the Palm Springs panel.
Very good. But we'll show this to your audience, and then I'll bring it up and give it to you, Mr. Mayor. And
Thank you.
hopefully you can find a place to hang it somewhere. And I don't think, as you know, this is all organic, so I don't think it, I think it's treated so it will not decay on you, so to speak, or decompose. Anyway, we are pleased and proud to do this and want you to know that we think very highly of you, even though we're in a different county. But you are part of our marketing plan, and we'll continue to market you.
Thank
so,
you.
indeed a pleasure to be here.
No, it doesn't. It just presented to the city of Palm Springs. Yeah. No, I won't say much. Just it's nice seeing everyone again. I see Gary and Tom and everybody. And miss all you guys a lot. And I get down here a lot. Not enough to see everybody, but nice being back. I saw John Raymond back there. So just want to say hello to everybody.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, on behalf of the citizens of Palm Springs, thank you, number one, for including us in your float. We are honored that you would allow our city to be displayed in this wonderful annual festival. As you had stated, 300 million people watch this parade from around the world. The fact that you took the time to display our city is appreciated, and we are honored that you did so. More importantly, we're quite impressed that you took the time to come down here and give this to us. I mean, you could have just thrown it away with everything else that goes on in those floats, but it'll become part of our relationship between our city and yours, and we'll display it proudly, sir, representing the friendships between our two cities.
Well, we appreciate that, and let me tell you that we came down here, and I'm going to come down more often, play some golf, and maybe you can come up and go to the #1 tourist attraction in the state of California, which is the Ontario Mills, 21 million visitors a year.
Outstanding.
So we'd love to have you come up and spend some money up there if you get a chance, and I'll come down and play some golf and spend some money down here.
Say hello to our two we actually have a 5-member council. 2 of them are out tonight, but we do have a 5-member council. 2 of them here, Mr. Councilman Mills, Chris Mills, and Ron Oden, our pro tem. Again, Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure
Appreciate
to
it.
be here.
Very good. Let's turn to our city clerk now for a posting, a report on the posting of the agenda, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The agenda was posted according to council procedure on Friday, April 11th. And in addition, the city manager has withdrawn item 7 from your agenda.
Drawing item 7. Thank
Yes.
you. Let's turn to our city attorney, Mr. Bill Winder, on the closed session report, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. Of the items printed in your closed session agenda, we covered, with respect to the Community Redevelopment Agency, agenda items 1 and 3. We provided a brief privileged and confidential status report on the real property negotiations involving Mr. Mark Gabay and Mr. Riff Markowitz. With respect to the city council agenda items, we reported on 2 pending litigations. They were the City of Palm Springs versus Gladys McMillan and Barry Norman versus the City of Palm Springs. We also talked about facts and circumstances that could give rise to an exposure to litigation in one case, and we talked about facts and circumstances which may cause the city to consider initiating litigation in one case. These were both privileged and confidential status reports only. No action was solicited with respect to them. And finally, the Assistant City Manager and City Manager discussed with the council and sought and obtained negotiating authority with respect to upcoming labor negotiations involving the Palm Springs professional mid-management, the professional and management employees, and the general unit collective bargaining negotiations. Beyond that, no other action was taken in closed session or was any solicited.
Thank you, sir. The Housing Authority, the Financing Authority, and the Industrial Development have no business scheduled for tonight. We do have business as the CRA. We will adjourn as the City Council and convene as the Community Redevelopment Agency. Members of the agency, there is no public hearing scheduled for tonight. We'll turn to those individuals wishing to address the Community Redevelopment Agency. We will have public comments for the City Council shortly. Anyone here wishing to address the Community Redevelopment Agency, please come forward at this time. Very good. Seeing none, we'll close public comments. We'll turn to our only legislative item, which is item A, the Geiger LLC exclusive agreement to negotiate. Mr. Reddy, I'll turn to you for your staff report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is part of our ongoing economic development initiative on retail on the Ramon Gene Autry area, and I would ask Mr. Raymond, our Director of Community Development, to give the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Raymond, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. The action before you is the extension of an exclusive agreement to negotiate with Geiger LLC of Beverly Hills on an agency-owned parcel at the corner of Gene Autry and Ramon Road. The parcel is previously referred to as the dump site. Now it's referred to as the Gene Autry Retail Center. The agency entered an agreement with Geiger last February to develop the site for a shopping center. They have completed the drafting of a remedial action plan. They've submitted the plan to the state that they expect to receive approval of that plan within the next couple of weeks. The traffic study is complete, and they have a preliminary site plan ready to submit to planning for approval. The extension is for a period of 12 months. That would allow for the doing a full EIR on the site and to take the project all the way through the entitlement process. We feel that given the investment that the developers made so far and the progress that they've made more than anyone else has on that particular site, that it warrants continuing the relationship with the developers. So with that, there's one change in the resolution. We'd like to make the approval of the agreement subject to in a form acceptable to the agency council.
Very good. Thank you, John. Members of the agency, questions or comments?
I'll move the resolution with the amended recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oden, second by Mr. Mills. Any additional comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's 3-0. It's deemed unanimous. That'll adjourn us now as the CRA, and we'll reconvene as the City Council. First order of business before the City Council is public comments. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the City Council, please come forward at this time. I have no cards before me. If you'll just come to the microphone, give your name to the City Clerk. We allot each speaker 3 minutes.
I'm gonna write it down for you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members, City Manager. My name is Mike Kovalev. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the president of the Palm Springs Police Officers Association. I just want you to know, I just want to get this information out, that we realize as the association that the city is facing some budgetary woes. We were recently approached by the city to forego our cost of living increase for this year. Right now, we're in a third year of a 4-year contract. When we negotiated this contract back in 2000, we didn't ask for any raises other than cost of living increases. These cost of living increases each year can be no lower than 2% and no higher than 4%. We did this to obtain the 3% at 50 retirement formula, which we agreed to postpone until this year, 3 years into the contract. We did this in mind to keep the city hopefully financially intact to prepare for this 3% at 50 retirement formula. Over 236 police agencies in this state have the 3% at 50 retirement formula. We denied the request of the city to forgo our COLA and to forgo the 3% at 50. The association is in no right to change the retirement plans of our current members. We have members that have planned their retirement. We have retirements coming up. We just can't change those right at this time because of the city's budget woes. The term added responsibility seems to be the buzzword around the city. The members of my association have had a lot of added responsibility. Right now, we're running at 83 officers. We're missing a commander, we're missing another officer on long-term injuries on duty. So we're running at 81 officers. 20 years ago, we were running at 81 officers. In the past 10 years, our calls for service have tripled. So added responsibilities, we see it. We have sergeants that are taking on responsibilities of commanders. We have officers that are taking on the responsibilities of sergeants. We're seeing the added workload. And we don't think it would be fair as a bargaining unit to forgo this cost of living increase, which is probably going to run about 3.2%, which it did last year, no other raises, and to forgo our COLA. I don't want to, our association recognizes and respects the fact that, this city, as for almost every other city in California, is facing budget problems. The collapse of the stock markets everywhere, California's declining economy, it's hurt everybody, and it's hurt us. The cost of living has increased, so therefore, we believe our salaries should try to stay on par. These two, the other benefit of these two things, the COLA and the 3% at 50, is it helps us retain our current members and recruit additional members. I don't want to see any more layoffs. I just wanted you to be aware of our perspective on the issue. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members.
Nancy,
I've
go
never
ahead.
been here before.
It's
My
okay.
name is Nancy Ann Vaughn.
Why don't you pull that microphone a little bit down, bring it closer to you. There you go. And give your name to the city clerk and welcome.
My name is Nancy Ann Vaughn, V-A-U-G-H-N. I live over on Waverly at 5300 East Waverly Drive. It came to my attention the other day that the water park at Knott's Berry's Water Park, Soak City, was going to have a party there from 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. Then it came to my attention that we were supposed to be notified that this was going to be going on. I personally went to over 300 homes in that area where I live, and not one person has ever even heard about it. And the neighborhood is very upset. So we would like to know what we can do about it as citizens of Palm Springs that live right there by that park. We would like this thing suspended and gone because we weren't notified. And it states that we were supposed to be notified. What can we do? I do have some other people here in the neighborhood that came in tonight. So I don't know what you can do, but something needs to be done. We need to be notified when something like this is going to go on in our neighborhood. As you all know where the water park is, and we live over across the wash, everything is carried that way towards Waverly. And all in that area is at least 400 or 500 homes. Bless you. I went to every one of these homes that I could get to. So if you can do something, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
From now on, if anything ever like this happens again, we need to be notified. That's what it states. And the neighbors in the neighborhood? Come on.
Thank you, Nancy. That's all right. That's all right, but just come down, give your name, and just whatever on your mind.
This is my grandson, he's 20 years old. I live in Palm Springs for 1 year, and I was a little disturbed, honestly, when my neighbor took the time to come around and tell us about this huge party that's going to be making all this noise. I'm sure it's going to be, and I don't really care for the type of party it probably is. I mean, they're not going to just probably drink Cokes. And I don't know what they plan on doing for 5 hours there, but I think it's very distasteful myself, and I would have liked to have heard about it before it even started, to have a chance to speak. Well, I have a chance tonight to do it, but the party's awful close right now, so I don't know what anybody could even do about it at this point, but I think it's in really bad taste.
Thank you. Has anybody in the neighborhood received notification? Well, I think your time's lapsed, Nancy. I'm sorry, I can't extend that because then I'll bring people up second and third times. Tell the grandson.
Okay, I called Knoxbury Farm in Sandusky, Ohio, and they didn't even know.
Yeah, I actually used to be employed by.
If you'll give your name to the clerk, sorry.
My name is Joshua Herbel, Herbel. Last summer, I actually worked for the water park over there, Knott's Soak City, and I'm unaware of exactly how many people were said to be there. But if it's anywhere near the number, like they said, I don't know exactly how they're going to pull it off. But if it is that many people, it is going to be quite a disturbance. And I just moved out here. I'm not really clear about any of the noise ordinances that have been passed with the city council. But I do feel that within residential zones that they should be upheld and not suspended for acts like this. I don't know exactly what's going to go on at the party or anything like that. It says things of loud music or something to that extent. So I imagine that it's going to be slightly disturbing to us, especially, the people on this neighborhood have jobs. They get up early in the morning, and, to have to deal with this from, 9 o'clock, p.m. until 2 o'clock in the morning can be quite a disturbance for them. And it is Easter weekend too, and I imagine that this could cause to be quite a problem. So I mean, I just ask that the city council would just go about the rules that have been already set forth for zoning ordinances and for sound. So that's all I request. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address council during public comments? Thank you for coming down. We'll now turn to the consent calendar. Council, you have items 1 through 4. If you wish to note any abstentions or ask any questions, please do so at this time.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to abstain on March 12th. I was absent.
Thank you, sir.
The minutes, yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mills.
I need to abstain on item 3, business-related, and that I'm doing work for clients who contributed to that signalization project. And on item 4, 2 warrants, 986245 and 986381 business-related.
And with that noted abstention, I ask the city attorney to give us a read on the ability to move the item forward when we have only 2 members that can vote.
If you've got, which consent calendar items are going to only have 2 members?
Number 3, and I think there were 2 warrants, Mr. Mills, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, well, we can carry the 2 warrants over. You can approve the rest of the warrant register. And then with respect to the item where you've only got 2 eligible council members to vote, and you can't count the non-eligible member towards a quorum, you don't have a quorum, so we're going to have to continue this over to the next council meeting.
So we'll continue 3.
Item number 3, and we will continue the 2 warrants.
And on the issue of the March 12th minutes, Mr. Oden is abstaining, so we got to pull those also.
That's
Okay?
true. We need to bring those back.
All right, so again, we'll pull the March 12th minutes until we get full quorum. Item 3, due to quorum issues, and the two warrant issues that Mr. Mills brought forward will also be held over. Okay? Now we have a clean agenda.
And Mr. Mayor, I'll move what's ever left of the consent agenda.
And I'll second it.
Thank you both very much. Motion by Mr. Mills and second by Mr. Oden. See no further questions. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Ms. Hodges, absent. Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Reller Spurgeon, absent. Mayor?
Aye. 3-0, it's deemed unanimous. We have no public hearings scheduled tonight. We'll turn to council comments, announcements, or interagency reports. Council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This past weekend, I attended Opera in the Park, and it was marvelous, just marvelous. The weather was perfect. There was a great crowd out. People were well behaved. The music was spectacular. It was a perfect day in Palm Springs. I'd like to say a special thank you to all the people who helped to put an outstanding program together for our community. Also, the week before, I attended a concert by the Caballeros, which was held at the Temple. And it was also very well attended. And I'm just real pleased to see a group that started in our community as a small, fledgling little group that have grown and developed into just an outstanding professional group of people who sing and bring great music to our community. So I just like to say a special thank you to them as well.
Thank you, Mr. Oden. Other council comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mills?
Sorry to cut you off.
That's all right, sir.
Actually, it was kind of enjoyable.
Well, I'll give you another opportunity later on this afternoon, this evening. That's all right. All right, thank you, Mr. Mills. Let's move on now. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry. I learned by example. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
This weekend, I participated in a senior softball event in the city of Las Vegas, of which I play for a local team, Palm Springs Heat, actually, appropriately named, at least part of the year. Sponsored by the Atlas Restaurant here in Palm Springs. And we play in the 55 and older division, and we brought back the trophy.
Bravo, congratulations.
Not bad for a bunch of old guys. So, and I also should announce that the previous week, our 50s team and our 65 team also won their divisions of the Las Vegas tournament.
Cool. Outstanding.
So we got some
Was it a
good old
sweep?
guys around here.
Would you consider that to be a sweep then?
Yes, we would.
Outstanding. Congratulations. The only report I have is one that I've handed out to the council, and I'll give a copy to the clerk. It is a synopsis of the major issues out of the Convention and Visitor Authority, and do look at the report. It does indicate city by city, and over the past 3 years, the percentage gains and increases in TOT, which represents pretty clearly what's going on in the valley with regards to TOT. And there's always an issue as to what each of the visitor contributes financially to the community when they come here, and there's been challenges based on that, and the International Association of Conventions and Visitors Bureaus did a survey for us and assigned a new dollar amount, which again is included in your packet. And then lastly, the casinos in the area engaged the services of the CVA and asked that this new guide be constructed. It is, for all practical purposes, a guide only directed on casinos. You cannot purchase advertising in it. It is all controlled by the casinos, and it does represent a number of properties in the Palm Springs proper. But again, they are based on arrangements apparently they have with those eating and other establishments. So it is the first of it. 50,000 have been printed and will be distributed in accordance with the desires and wills of the casinos. On Friday, I attended the Agua Caliente annual donation ceremony. The Agua Calientes have set a precedent that has yet to be challenged, if for that matter, even met by a number of other gaming casino owners in the state of California. They have, since their very first year, made generous donations to a number of associations, organizations, and governmental entities. This year, they gave away $1,065,000 to a number of organizations ranging from Boys and Girls Clubs to PAL to senior centers, to boys and girls clubs. I think they hit virtually every veterans organization. Their first presentation, they called down the acting commandant of 29 Palms Marine Corps Base. He was there in attendance along with members of his staff and his family. And although unsolicited, because the military cannot request financial support in this fashion, the Agua Calientes saw fit to make a donation of $10,000 to the Marines' efforts to help those families that are dealing with their spouses overseas. So they were very generous in even remembering those troops that are serving overseas. The city of Palm Springs did very well, from our PAL, our DARE, our police department, our library, I mean, our fire department, you name virtually anyone in any level of quality of life in the city of Palm Springs, and they have once again demonstrated their commitment to it. And my only comment to the chairman and the members of the tribe was that their generosity was only exceeded by their enthusiasm for their generosity, and you could see them glowing with great happiness and in a sense that they were very proud of the fact they were able to be this generous. They are a wonderful, kind, and loving member of our community. They're great neighbors, and their generosity was once again displayed to the tune of over $1 million. So hats off to the Agua Calientes. And I believe Mr. Oden was in attendance. I didn't see you at the beginning, but I did see you later on in the presentation. I would have wished that more cities had at least a representative there, although there are many jurisdictions that received money. I guess the schedules or the calendars or whatever just didn't allow them to be there, but we were represented by at least 2 members of the council. I know it's impossible to be everywhere, Mr. Mills, don't take it by any means, but it was, Senator Batten was there and Bonnie Garcia was there. It would have been, I think, a lot nicer if, in fact, more members showed their appreciation. Obviously, those receiving checks were there, don't get me wrong, but I think those organizations that are part of the cities should be represented by their electeds, as was Palm Springs. So we did very well. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I'm looking at staff, and they're nodding politely, because I think the chief, didn't you get $60,000 for the fire department, so, along with others. So it was a very good day, very good day. Additionally, following that, we no sooner went from that function to the next function, and it was the Senior Inspiration Awards. This is an annual awards luncheon that is hosted basically by Supervisor Roy Wilson. It was one of his ideas that came out of I think Corky Larson, when she was supervisor, established it. And the city of Palm Springs joins all the cities in the valley and nominates a recipient. This year we had a husband and wife combination. We had Bill Casey and Elva French Casey. Bill has worked for years at the Chamber of Commerce, and Elva French Casey has donated tremendous amounts of time and effort at the Struck Activity Center and a myriad of other organizations they both belong to. But we were there for that, and Mr. Oden again joined me at that table, and we showed support for our year's recipients. It was a nice, it's a nice day, because again, the communities acknowledge those individuals who as seniors inspire all of us to the importance of community service and donating their time and energies. And some of these people have done remarkable work. One gentleman was in his 90s and had been working. One of the gentlemen was there, received the award. He was on the formation committee that formed La Quinta. I mean, these are people who have invested years, if not decades, of their lives, and it was nice to see them acknowledged. It's a good day. Anything else? Very good. Let's return back to our calendar. We'll go to our legislative action items. First item is item 5, which is an ordinance for second reading and final adoption, first introduced on 3/19 of this year, and this is amending the PERS contract regarding police safety. And I'll turn to Mr. Reddy for a brief staff report, sir.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is the second reading, and I would turn to the clerk. Unless you would, council want a staff report on this.
Perhaps just a thumbnail as to what the intent of this action is, sir.
Yes, members of council, this is part of the contract that you had previously agreed to with the PSPOA and the police unions. This was regarding their PERS and retirement. This is a ministerial act that we must do to fulfill the contract requirement. It is a contract that we must do with PERS. It is a necessity, and we will forward this on to PERS, which will in effect finalize our responsibility and our part of the bargaining unit contract. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Council?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Oden.
I will move the ordinance. If the clerk would read the title, waiving text, please.
And second.
Second by Mr. Mills. Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, if you will indeed read text, read title and waive text.
Yes, this is an ordinance of the City of Palm Springs, California, authorizing an amendment to contract between the Board of Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System and the City Council of the City of Palm Springs.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Hodges, absent. Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Reller Spurgeon, absent. And Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Passes 3-0, deemed unanimous. Congratulations, gentlemen. We'll turn now to item 6, which is the Retail Development Attraction Area. Mr. Reddy, your staff report, sir.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is again part of our aggressive economic development program. This is somewhat of a companion piece to what you did earlier in the meeting under the redevelopment agency. Again, what our intent here is to make sure that we can take advantage of every opportunity that we have and make sure that our economic development process is moving on retail in the Ramon Gene Autry corridor. And I would ask Mr. Raymond to come to the microphone and give you the details of this resolution. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. If you remember, a year ago, we created the Sunrise Gateway Revitalization Planning Area up in the north end. And since that time, and essentially what that area did was just create a set of sort of planning, not planning with a capital P, but sort of small p planning objectives for development in that area and some guidelines for the economic development of that area. Since that time, you've approved the Burnett project, 410 homes, the Mountain Gate project, 308 homes. We've purchased a Tramway gas station, and there's been a significant amount of investment up in the north end. We'd like to take the same principle and apply it to the area around Gene Autry and Ramon and East Palm Canyon and Gene Autry, but for the specific purpose of promoting retail and specifically large commercial retail. So it's essentially a document that's a guideline document, and but it indicates to the development community that the city is supportive of retail in that area. And as Mr. Reddy said, we're working with one developer on land that we own, and there's a significant amount of land that's available for retail, and we feel that that intersection is going to be a major retail corridor in the Coachella Valley, and that's all going to happen very soon. So with that, we recommend the approval of the area.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond. Council, questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Oden.
I guess my first question is, what additional resources are needed to address this focus?
You mean additional financial resources?
Yes.
Or it doesn't commit excuse me, it doesn't commit any additional financial resources to development. What it does is identifies resources that are available for infrastructure. Obviously, we're not putting any city or agency dollars actually into development projects, but there are some infrastructure needs related to some traffic, but drainage and flood control that are necessary. And it only identifies them: Measure A, redevelopment tax increment, and maybe Riverside County flood control and drainage fee. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you. I think this is a good idea. I'm just a little concerned about other areas of the city and what we're going to do to address those other areas. Some we sort of had a focus at one time that perhaps we've lost. And while I think this is good, I just don't want us to piecemeal this. I think what I'd like to see is an approach where we look at the city, and like we did with our Recapture Our Neighborhoods program, and we clearly identified areas that we wanted to work on. And the same with economic development, the same with this retail enterprise that you're looking at as well.
Well, one of the things about this particular area, because of the, especially up at Ramon and Gene Autry, is because of the lack of population density, it's not really a traditional retail area. You would not build a grocery store or a neighborhood shopping center, for example, because there's no radius around it. You got the airport on one side, you got the wash on the other side. You do have people that live to the south, but they're served by Vons, but they're not in the traditional grocery store 1 mile radius, or not enough of them to really support a grocery store. But it is because of the high traffic count and because of the excellent access up to the high desert, Desert Hot Springs, up and down Gene Autry, and the great access along Ramon and the Mid-Valley Parkway, it is an excellent location for larger scale retail. And, you know, I think we're seeing that now. We're seeing, we've seen Lowe's and we've seen other large national retailers. And what we're trying to do is just, like we did with Sunrise Gateway, to say we are very interested in development in the North End, and it's just it's a message to the development community. This is also a message. This is not any pre-approval or you know, any. It's not tipping your hand on what you'd like to see in terms of a project or anything like that. We're very careful not to you know, have any language like that that sort of commits you to anything. But it is, and so the idea is that, you know, this could be a significant, large retail area, but it's not the same as, you know, like the Ralphs at Sunrise and Ramon, or the downtown, or any of the other neighborhood or commercial areas in the city. It's a very different kind of retail.
Okay, and actually I was referring to the other commercial area initially that we were looking at on the other side of I-10 and the industrial area off of Indian, et cetera, because we started to focus there at one time that we haven't done much with.
Well, that's true, and that's the market. The market still hasn't really responded to the efforts. I mean, we've you're talking about the other side of the freeway. We've pushed, and we continue to push. Actually, we still, you know, market that as industrial, and there is industrial activity happening there now, but it's not at the same pace that you're going to see other kinds of commercial activity elsewhere in the city, including these areas.
I may want to join in a discussion on the industrial areas. You cite the interstate and Indian Avenue and potentially in the future years Gene Autry, but there has been a reluctance in developing new sites or even engaging existing sites because of the nightmare that the interchange creates based on traffic. We are backed up in some cases 1 and 2 miles in length and duration trying to get through it, so that when someone is paying someone to deliver a product or a service and they're forced to wait an hour trying to get back or to and from the location, it's cost prohibitive. And part of the argument that we have submitted in our attempt to try to get T funding from the federal government for those interchanges is the breakdown in an economic benefit. So we are looking at that. I think what this indicates to me is we are placing additional focus on an area that has greatest potential, as indicated by the most recent development in this Ramon and Gene Autry area, and the potential that we're investigating further on East Palm Canyon and Gene Autry. I agree with Mr. Oden, we have other things to look at, but I think with the resources available to us, we've got to focus where the action is. Until we can get the interchanges to move, unfortunately, it's going to be difficult, not impossible, but challenging to secure someone's interest in an area where there's a guaranteed bottleneck 80% of the day in transportation. So we'll continue to fight that battle, obviously in the federal governments, and I'm sure there'll be a scheduled trip sometime in the near future to go out there and sort of rally the troops in Washington, see if we can get those funding. Oddly enough, we need $25 million for those 2 interchanges, which is a seemingly massive number for us, but not so significant for perhaps the Washington arena. Okay? Other questions on this?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mills.
John, if I understand what we're doing here, this is really to encourage development in the area. It's no way an overlay zone.
No.
It's no way, it does not affect the zoning of the property whatsoever. It's purely an enticement.
Right, so it won't be reflected on the zoning map, and it doesn't create any either additional rights or powers of the property owner, nor any additional obligations of the property owner.
Okay.
Okay. What's the council's pleasure on this? You got a resolution before you?
I'll move the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Mr. Mills and a second by Mr. Oden. Any additional comments or conversation? No further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's 3-0. It's deemed unanimous. Item 7, thank you, John. Item 7 has been withdrawn at the request of our city manager. Item 8 is a resolution of convenience and necessity required when entertaining beer or alcohol sales. I'll turn to Mr. Reddy for his staff report, please.
Mr. Mayor, I would ask Doug Evans, our Director of Planning and Zoning, to give the staff report on the necessity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is a resolution of convenience and necessity for 820 Research Drive, Units 11 and 12. This is in an industrial zone. It's a multi-tenanted industrial building. It's back over behind the Department of Motor Vehicles as far as the location. The resolution of convenience and necessity is required by the ABC regulations relative to issuance of a license for this type of business. The type of business is a rather unusual one. It's a very limited warehouse distribution facility that distributes to hotels directly, provides almost a room service program for hotels and other individuals that might be in town for a short-term basis. Because of the type of license, the applicant is required by ABC, that's a state agency, to have a retail sales area. It's a very small percentage of the business. In fact, I think the owner would prefer not to have it from a manpower standpoint, but they must have it. The Planning Commission looked at this last week as a conditional use permit because of the retail sales. They held a public hearing, noticed all property owners within 400 feet. There were no public comments, and the Planning Commission unanimously approved the project, and I think they felt it was rather unique market for somebody to step into and provide the service to small hotels and visitors in town. Based upon that, the planning staff recommends approval of this action. We'll certainly try to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Council, what's your pleasure on this?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question of Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Evans, does I mean, if we grant the resolution, there's nothing to say that they could not make that. I mean, they could change the focus of their facility, or does the conditional use permit definitely tie up what the focus of the facility is?
The conditional use permit is very, very project specific. It's floor plan specific, and it's a very limited floor plan. In fact, it's not very customer friendly from a retail sales standpoint. You won't feel like you're walking into a traditional retail environment. And again, I think if the business owner had their druthers, particularly in this location, they probably wouldn't have that retail front door. They'd really operate on a phone call delivery type basis. One of the things they're primarily going to do is put cards in hotel rooms that basically say, for room service, call this number. People think they're calling the front desk, and they're actually getting bounced to this service, and they deliver. So it's really a service that I think is rather creative and will be responded to very favorably by some of the small hotels that can't have on-site sales and some of the other things that they might do.
Is it,
Interesting.
are they proposing any signing other than the name of the business? In other words, to the fact that that you can go in there and buy?
The name of the business is the only sign they will have in the tenant space out on the street. You will not virtually be able to see the tenant space from the street, and they'll have no special signage there. Again, other than standard signs that they have to put up regarding alcohol availability and the health risk, at this point they don't anticipate on having any special signage, and their business name would give you no clue that it's retail sales.
And any signage to that effect would have to come back to Planning Commission?
Special signage would be difficult on this building.
Okay, thank you.
Based upon the sign program.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Oden.
And this site is too small to host any kind of events or anything?
The site at this location?
Yes.
It's a warehouse primarily. There's only 377 square feet in the retail area. If it wasn't for the ABC restriction, like I said, it would be a warehouse.
Okay.
Is it the entire building?
No, it's two tenant spaces in the backside, right up against the airport practically.
Great.
You couldn't hide this better if you tried.
Very good. Further questions? Otherwise, what's the council's pleasure? To resolution?
I'll move the resolution, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Is there a second?
And I will second.
Second by Mr. Roden. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Esteemed 3-0. Mr. Reddy, do we have any additional legislative items?
There are none, sir.
He added started, sir.
There are none.
Under reports and requests, council reports and requests, item 10, receive and file the treasurer's investment report for February 20th of this year. You have your Southern California Edison 2002 franchise statement. Additionally, you have your 2002 gas company franchise statements. Any comments or questions on those? If not, we'll turn to public reports or requests. And I'm actually going to call for the public to come forward at this time, and I'm going to ask either Mr. Raymond or Mr. Dalla to come by here and introduce the guests that we have from our good friends from New Zealand. The Rotary has a number of programs where they go internationally and meet up with Rotarians from around the world, and we have had the pleasure of Russians in the past. They've come a couple of times, and they've had Rotarians from here there over to Russia, but this time we have apparently some honored guests from New Zealand who came to my office today, and we shared some stories and some lies. Most of yours were lies, I'm sure, of what you told me was lies. But I thought it would be nice if we actually brought them forward. Gentlemen, if you'll come down and introduce them to the great city of Palm Springs. These are three fine gentlemen. There are two additional ladies, and Mr. Dalla, tell us who you are and what are you doing with these fine men?
Mr. Mayor, it's my pleasure to be hosting Ian Hook, the team leader from New Zealand. This is Ian Hook. This is Roger Clark and Kevin Norris, and there are two young ladies who Milt Levinson is esquiring at the moment. They're not here, but they are in town for a program called Group Study Exchange, funded by the Rotary International Foundation. And at this moment, we have a team in New Zealand, and John Raymond was on a team a few years ago that we sent out to Russia, as you may recall.
Yes.
So they are here and enjoying the hospitality of the Palm Springs and Coachella Valley. They are in town. This is their fourth week of a 5-week tour. They came to us from Big Bear. We will take them to Temecula on Saturday. Would you like to say a few words?
Ian, say a few words. Come on.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It's indeed an honour to be brought forward and introduced. We're having a fantastic time here, and we're very impressed with the city of Palm Springs and the facilities that you have around here. As I said to you today, when we arrived here, we sort of detected a very special sort of ambience just walking around the streets, and I congratulate you and fellow councillors on achieving that. We know what your ambitions are to, in fact, to have it as a very desirable place to come and have a holiday, and I certainly would like to come back sometime.
I don't talk about my ambitions. You promised me you wouldn't. And that ambience you referred to is called sunshine. We have a lot of that here. Enjoy it. These gentlemen came by again this morning and said hello into my office, and I thought we should all meet them.
The comment I'd just like to make is that you have a very knowledgeable mayor. He knew exactly how many sheep that we had in New Zealand, so I think that he should be applauded.
I knew of the ratio, perhaps. I don't know of the actual number. The ratio was quite astonishing, by all means. Kevin, what have you got for us, sir?
Just like to say that since we've been here, it's been really humbling to see how much people are doing in the community for no return. Like all of your communities are doing things for nothing, and it's for others. It's very humbling. So it's been great to see. And thank you for having us in your city. It's beautiful.
Glad you're here. Hope you enjoy your stay. When do you take off? First thing tomorrow?
No, we leave here on Saturday morning for Temecula, and then next Friday we leave for home. So
For home then, eh?
yeah, we're here for a little
And
bit.
who do you meet in Temecula? You going to meet the mayors down there a bit? Or?
We're not responsible for that end of the program, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure they'll tour the vineyards. I don't know what else they will do, but I'm sure they'll tour the vineyards of Temecula.
Well, gentlemen, welcome again to Palm Springs. Thanks for coming down tonight. Please welcome our friends from New Zealand. Come on up again here, guys. Come on. Very good. Now, I don't think I've ever actually asked someone to come forward during public comments, but I thought it might be appropriate to meet these fine gentlemen. And again, there are two fine ladies that came with them. And you know, we meet groups, as you can well imagine, in Palm Springs all the time, but I've never seen a group that came representing the Rotary from another country that came in, if you will, matching outfits. They all have matching ties, matching shirts, matching jackets, and the ladies were dressed. I mean, it was very professional. They handed out a single business card that opened up, and it had all of their names and it said, "We represent the group from New Zealand," as opposed to 5 cards trying to figure out who everybody is. One card. Very well done. Good thinking, gentlemen. Bravo. Cheers. Good to see you. All right. Any additional public reports or requests? Otherwise, we'll go to staff reports or requests.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one. I would ask Mr. Evans, our Director of Planning, to give just a quick report on the notification for the members of the audience who request on Knott's Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. We met this week with the promoters team, the police department, and we went through each and every venue and discussed the status of the event and the activities of the event. Oasis Water Park, they've made some changes in the layout and the operation and the type of event they're going to have. As I indicated at the City Council meeting, Knott's was very concerned and has a very strong relationship with all their neighborhoods to not have excessive noise levels. The Knott's people are bringing in, or requiring that their sound company that they work with do the sound at the water park so that they have a good handle on it. They've cut down the area for dance and music. They informed us it's really going to be more like an evening operation of the water park, similar to things that they do there on a regular basis that have not generated complaints. It was by oversight. We did not ask them to provide notices in that neighborhood. We, I guess, interpreted the council direction as opposed to listening to it literally. We thought the main concern was around the areas we've had complaints in the past. The White Party, the Wyndham Hotel, and the Arenas Road lot. They did send out 2 separate mailings of about 900 each for those events. At Oasis, or excuse me, Knott's, originally we didn't recommend and they didn't request suspension of the noise ordinance because Knott's wanted it to comply and not create a hardship in the neighborhood. So we didn't provide the notice. I'm optimistic that the Knott's management intends and has intended all along that this be a relatively quiet event, not similar to the Arenas Road Tea Party as well as the Wyndham facility and the White Party. So I don't think it's the same type of event. My staff will contact Knott's and the promoters. We've got a really good relationship, and like I said, we had a really good meeting with the police department yesterday to talk about operations, activities, expectations. And I think all parties were pleased with the meeting.
Okay, council comments on that? What would the neighborhood do if they had complaints? Simply call who?
They're going to call the police department. It's after hours. Anytime anybody has a noise complaint in the city, after business hours and on weekends, they would call the police department. The police department does noise enforcement in those off hours. During regular business hours, noise complaints can go to the building and safety department, code enforcement, or community preservation officers. We do have a noise hotline process, I believe, being put in place that really is a central location people can call noise concerns in. But it's the police department, and we did talk this week about what happens if we do get substantial complaints, and I think the event team understands that they have to be sensitive to the neighborhood. And if we get a lot of complaints at any of the venues, the police department will likely contact the event in progress and say we have to make some adjustments. The police department has a challenge, and that is to balance and try to evaluate, and the same police team that worked last year's event is working this year's event, so they're knowledgeable about the event and activity. The watch commander phone number, if anybody has a need to call, is 323-8115.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other staff reports or requests, sir?
There are none.
We have our next regularly scheduled meeting on May 7th at 7 o'clock. And we have a study session scheduled for next week, April 23rd at 7 o'clock. And I understand, Mr. Reddy, you're going to call for a special meeting on that same date?
That is correct, Mayor. I would request that you call a special meeting for next week's meeting as well. Thank you.
Okay, and both those meetings are at 7 o'clock, and they will be preceded by closed sessions at 5:30. It is now 8:09. We have no business before the council, so we will stand adjourned. Thank you and good night.